What's up guys, I'm Chris and today you're watching a magic review on MentalVoice² by Umesh at Black Box Productions. So I just want to mention quick, I know a lot of the time people skip through the review just to the sections they want to know, but I would recommend watching this through. There is a lot to talk about here, and I also have a discount code for you, which you will find later. Welcome to the channel and thanks for tuning in. If you haven't, please consider subscribing and giving this video a thumbs up. Any questions or comments, just ask them in the comment section below, and don't forget to ring that notification bell so you don't miss a video or a review. Also, join the Chris Edwards Magic Secret Access group over on Facebook. Alright, so today we are looking at MentalVoice² by Umesh. Now, if you aren't familiar with MentalVoice, I'll go over what that is, of course, but I have also done a full review for the original MentalVoice. This is the second version. So first off, what is it? This is a bone conduction device that allows you to put a thought into your spectator's head. So they will actually hear that word or that thought, while nobody else around them will. You will simply have them plug their ears, close their eyes, and they will hear whatever you want them to hear. Now, what's incredible about this is they actually hear a voice in their head, which doesn't make a lot of sense, right? Because their ears are plugged. You get them to do that so that there's no way that they can think, that you're whispering something in their ear. But they will very clearly, inside their head, hear that voice. Now, there's been a lot of upgrades when it comes to MentalVoice² and I'm going to touch on all of those. But first, let me grab it. I'll go over what you get and the quality. So everything's going to come in a box like this. Inside, you will have the tutorial link, which is here. You will have the device here. You'll also get a charging cable and a USB adapter. So it is USB-C charging. Now, I'm not keeping mine in here because I use a case that Chester Sass designed. I did a review for this as well. He's designed storage cases for Flux. He's designed storage cases for MentalVoice and some other things. And it just so happens that MentalVoice² still fits in here. So here's the original MentalVoice. Okay, it's actually comes in like a black shrink wrap type thing, but I just covered it with some of this medical tape just because it hides it better for me. But this is the original device. Now, the new device, the 2.0, again, still fits in here, which is great. And it looks like this. So it has a silicone case on it. It's USB-C charging, but this one has Bluetooth capability. So I'll get into that in a minute, but basically you would just have this palmed, right? And because of the silicone wrap, it feels good. It sits there well. And that's how you go about it. Now, what are some differences between MentalVoice 1 and MentalVoice² So first off, you can use this online or offline. This one has Bluetooth, whereas the original didn't. So the original, you had to upload your files through a computer, and then that's what you had on here, right? Now this one has the offline mode. You can still do that. It has 512 megabytes of storage, and it's super simple to use. Once you've uploaded your files on here through a computer or your phone, then you simply turn it on with this switch. This is the button that will activate the sound or the bone conduction. And then you have a slide here that will control the volume. Now, with this, if you have multiple tracks, if you press it once, that'll play your first track, 2, 3, 4, and it goes on however many you have on there. So if you have 6 tracks and you want the 6th track, you would just press this 6 times. And it is silent. You might be able to hear it in here, but with any ambient noise, you can't. This is just a very quiet room. I've got acoustic foam all around it. Used to be a recording studio, so you will hear the slightest thing in here. But you cannot hear this in the real world at all. Now let's talk about the online mode, because that's one of the big changes. So this will connect to your phone, and from there's an app that is included. I have my other phone here, so I can just kind of go over the app features for you. So you have a number of things. You have different inputs. So you can use your notes to input whatever on the spot. It's an instant input, right? So if you don't want to use the offline mode where you have pre-existing or set up audio tracks, then you can do whatever you want on the fly. If you're telling somebody, think of a celebrity, and they say Britney Spears, you can input that in real time. You're probably not going to have them say it out loud, so maybe you would have them write it down and you would peek that information. From there, you could go on your phone and say, I'm going to make a prediction. You open your notes app. Now, this works very much like Cosmos, which is also by Black Box Productions. So anybody familiar with Cosmos, I think, will be quite familiar with the app. It's not the same, but it's similar. And some of the input methods are the same. So, you have your notes input, you have your lock screen input. This also has API support. And then you can use an audio editor to record audio on the spot, right? So rather than having to go through the computer and everything, you can do it on your phone in the app and then upload it onto your device. You can create all your templates, and then there's also something with 11 Labs, which is an AI generated voice that they give you lots of different options. So you have plenty of different female voices, male voices, you have different languages, and then you can also add effects. So there's like a robot ghost effect, which sounds a little bit too robotic for me, but the idea a lot of people want to have with this is that, if you're a male, you might use a female voice just so that there's no way that your participant could say, he said something to me, right? Or she said something to me. And then there's also an echo effect. So if you typed into your notes Britney Spears, right, you could have a female voice say Britney Spears, Britney Spears, Britney Spears, and it would echo. Now, this works with iOS and Android, which means it also works with Mac and Windows. And then there's also features on here that I haven't explored yet, such as text-to-speech, the Juan Tamira's mnemonica stack. I don't exactly know what those are used for yet, but there is other things that you can do with this than just what you might think at first. So the tutorial is out, but in that Umesh hasn't touched on those things yet, so I can't speak on those, but I'm sure that will be out there in time. Now with this, you also have a sensor feature and vibration feedback. So if you are putting things into your notes and you want to input what you've written, you can either press done on your notes, or like with Cosmos, you give them your phone, they put something in the notes, and you tell them, when you're done, just put the phone face down or hold the phone to your chest. That will trigger the device to transmit the written information. So if you liked MentalVoice 1, you can still do everything with MentalVoice 2 that you could with the first one, but you have so many new capabilities. I really like the AI voice. I've tried a few different voices, and they all sound pretty good. They're not really robotic or anything. And on top of that, when you select a voice, right, you have a handful of male voices, a handful of female voices, but then on top of that, you can also input how you want them to speak. So do you want them to have a relaxed tone? Do you want them to sound excited? Do you want them to sound rushed or panicked or whatever, right? You have all those options. With the offline mode, there is also a 5-second delay, which is nice because you often do want some time between pressing the button to activate it and getting it in position. So that kind of covers a lot of what this can do. So what's the quality? Now the quality is really good. With this one, I really like that they've included the silicone sleeve. Not only does it help with grip and palming, but it provides some extra cushion and support if you were to drop it. I did just kind of peel things back to kind of take a look inside, and everything looks very well put together. I'm not going to take it off entirely. Tutorial. Overall, the tutorial, Umesh gets you set up, teaches you how to use this online and offline. There aren't any routines, but I don't think you really need any, right? It's more about just understanding how to use this and what it can do. And in the tutorial, I had no problem following along. The instructions on how to get this set up. It was all very easy. For the AI technology, you are going to want to sign up to 11 Labs. Now, there are different options there. You have a free option, which still gives you everything, but you have a limited number of credits. I think the credits that you are given, it's so many per month, and I think it's more than enough for what you're going to do. However, if you want to go beyond that, you get 5 times or 10 times the credits for like $5 a month. You can just do fine with the free option, but it's the paid option is there if you want it. Difficulty level, once it's set up, it's extremely easy to use, right? It's basically the push of a button if you're using offline mode, or once you understand the app, it's all very straightforward, and there's not a lot of messing around to actually get to where you need to be and what you need to do to get it to do its thing. Setup and reset. So there is an initial setup, right? You need to get your audio tracks on here, whether you do that offline or online. If you're doing it online, once everything's set up, the app is running, it's basically instant input, right? You can do this very quickly. Offline takes a little bit longer. You just connect this to your computer, drag the files over. It doesn't take long. It's just longer than using Bluetooth. Can it be examined? No, definitely not. You don't want them to know that this is ever in play. You don't want them to see this. It's not going to be seen. Pocket space, it's small. About the size of a Mercury folded card. The Mercury folded card is a little bit bigger, and then the thickness is, I don't know. I don't really have anything to compare it to. Thickness is about as thick as a phone. In a case, this is a thick, durable case, but it's super easy to palm. If you're putting it in your pocket, it doesn't take up much pocket space. I carry mine in here, which takes up a bit more pocket space, but then I have a charging cable if I need it, and it's protected in here, right? Who will use this? So this is for the mentalist, right? This really doesn't have much to do with magic, but if you are a magician that ties in magic and mentalism, then obviously this is for you too. Is this practical, and is this a worker? So even MentalVoice² was practical and was great for working situations. What's great about this, whether you're using 1 or 2, but obviously we're talking about 2 here, is that no matter what environment you're in, it's going to be good, because you don't need, there's nothing to be seen, right? But as far as them hearing something, if there's outside noise, that doesn't matter. It doesn't affect this. They're going to hear this in their head with their ears closed. So actually, all the noise outside, if you're in like a bar or you're at an event where they're playing loud music, that's actually better, because then it's impossible for anybody to say, well, he whispered something to them, because how would anybody hear a whisper with all the loud noise going on around you? So having environmental noise is actually great with this, because they'll plug their ears and they will hear this perfectly. But with the second version here, obviously the addition of having Bluetooth and AI input and instant input, I mean, that just makes this so much better. So what's the price, and is it worth your money? Now, I hope you stuck around to watch to this point, because not only will I give you the price, but I will give you a discount code. So the discount code, I think it's 10% off. I can't remember if it was 10 or 20. I think it's 10, which isn't a ton, but it's still going to get you a bit of a discount. It's going to save you a bit of money. So this is $199 right now. After some time, it will go up to $250. And then if you apply the discount code, which is simply Chris, that's it, just Chris, easy to remember, then you'll get an additional percentage off. Now, I know with Black Box Productions, in the past, there has been some issues with shipping, and it's not issues that you don't get your item. You always get it. It's just shipping costs were high because it comes from India, right? And international shipping is not cheap, and that's not a problem with Black Box. That's a problem with any place shipping internationally, right? So what's great now is that Black Box actually has stock in the US. So if you're buying from the US, it'll come right from the US. Or if you're buying from Canada, like me, or places closer, then it'll ship out faster and for less of a cost. So there is that now, which is great. So is it worth your money? At $200, and plus a discount, I would say that this is definitely worth the money. Even when it goes up to $250, it is still very affordable in comparison to other similar products out there. I had still been using MentalVoice 1 since I got it, up until I got this one, and it had never failed me. So I would say, I said back then that MentalVoice 1 was worth the money. The fact that I've used it for this long and used it consistently and it's worked perfectly, I would say that, it held up. It was worth the money. This one, definitely. Now, with all the added capabilities, 100%, hands down, worth the money. I've already touched on positives and I don't have any negatives, so we're not even going to really touch on that section. I tried to think of a couple things that might be a negative, and I can't. If this were only online, I would say, well, maybe there could be some issues there, but you have the offline capability as well. If you don't like the offline idea of having to connect this to a computer and drag and drop files and all of that stuff, well, that's not a negative either, because then you just go online with your Bluetooth and you can input audio from your phone. So really, I couldn't find a negative with this. It connected to my phone perfectly, both phones, right? I have it set up on my Android and my iPhone. No issues there. No issues with the app. No issues getting set up with 11 Labs. Now, I will mention with 11 Labs, when you're in the app and they ask for the API code or whatever, it's not the same one that you'll get to activate the app. So at first I thought it was, and I put it in, and then the AI wasn't working. And then I talked with Umesh, and no, you have to go into your 11 Labs account and you create your own API. So I did that. I input that into the app, and ever since then, no problems at all. So I have no negatives, right? It's very easy to use, easy to understand, and easy to do. With that, I think I've covered everything. This is getting to be a lengthier review, but I did want to touch on everything because I think there is a lot to unpack here. But with that, I will leave a link in the description below on where you can pick this up. Remember to use that discount code Chris, all lowercase, I believe, CHRIS. And with that, we'll see you at the next review.